Good morning, good afternoon, and if you're coming home from working a long 9 to 5, I hope you're having a great one. As we bring to you another BODYSLAM exclusive interview, my guest today is the Princess of Perfection, Rachel Lay. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing, of course. Like, as we mentioned before, we spoke about a few moments before. A cold day for you in Florida, hot day here in California. There's like a
Yeah.
sub-zero type of mix here. But of course, prior to living in Florida, you had, of course, had some run-ins with Lexington, Kentucky, with Ohio Valley Wrestling. You were getting your first start in professional wrestling after your WWE tryout. You decided, I'm gonna go full in on the wrestling world, and just started you making your run. From learning under Al Snow, Doug Basham, and many other veterans and rising stars that you were learning the ropes with, just like yourself. What was that experience like for you, and who was your favorite at the time to wrestle with whenever you got the chance to?
Yeah, OVW was a great place for me to start out. Just not knowing really much about the business because I didn't grow up watching it. It was a great place to get my feet wet, learn how like TV works and be able to get in weekly reps. I'm grateful for the time I got at OVW. But obviously I don't live in that area of the country anymore, so it's a little difficult to get out there being in Florida now. But I would say probably J Rod. I am really good friends with her on like a wrestling and personal level. So anytime I get to see her at other promotions, or just even if we're doing extra work together at SmackDown or Raw, like it's a treat to see her.
Of course, J-Rod had been making a lot of waves around the scene, competing at Metroplex Wrestling with you as well. Like there's
Mhm.
there's a lot that's been happening the last couple of months for her. But of course, last December you capped off a pretty big opportunity when you got to come face to face with the current WEID Women's Champion, Lainey Luck. The outcome wasn't the one that you had wanted to have, but what can you tell me about the weeks in Illinois where you got to compete in a huge battle royal before battling Lainey for the championship that night?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything kind of happens for a reason, and our match had been scheduled months in advance before she was even ID'd, before she won the championship belt for the women's ID program. So I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and so I was fortunate enough to be her first ever contester for the title belt. And honestly, being able to work with someone as veteran as Lainey Luck, it was so refreshing to be in the ring with her. Just being able to go back and forth and really showcase both of our talents and highlights. And then the battle royal afterwards was just like icing on the cake. Got to get in the ring with a bunch of other girls who I haven't previously either met or faced before. And so that was obviously awesome.
Of course, very big night. Megan Bain winning that battle royal, but there was so many
Mhm.
big names involved with it, including yourself as well. 2023, you had your tryout with WWE. You decided to, get your feet wet with the professional wrestling world, and you start, learning from whether it's OVW or when you started to go into flatbacks, to be able to, learn even more from great minds like Tyler Breeze and Sean Spears. But you've been
Mhm.
training there for quite some time now, from learning under those two to being surrounded by so many amazing and talented wrestlers learning from one another. How important has it been for you to expand your learning and find different minds to speak to in regards to teachers and students who are there as with the same goals as you are in the professional wrestling business?
Yeah. So, I mean, considering I know maybe less than 1% of the world of wrestling as far as like moves and everything in that sense, like, I mean, even people that have been 10 years in the business, they still come to flatbacks every day to practice. Like you can always learn something new no matter like what step you are in your career. And I think it's really encouraging being able to get in the ring with like certain individuals who are signed or have been signed or are still currently signed. And even like individuals who may have potentially are about to be signed. Like it's nice to be able to work with guys and girls who have a similar mindset and they're willing and wanting to help me get to that goal as well.
Of course. And with like, learning, things from everybody, learning from especially
Mhm.
Spears and of course Breeze, is there any type of advice that you've specifically gone to pick their brains about so you can be able to perfect and craft it?
So I've been working on being able to portray both heel and face. Because obviously I need to be a versatile athlete, and there's obviously different psychologies that come with both. So I typically work face just because of being as green as I am. Like, you want to have the veteran person probably be the heel in most matches. But my character is very heelish in its own persona. So just being able to flip between each other heel or face, if that's what a specific promotion needs, so I can make myself more marketable and more versatile.
Yeah, and your nickname, the Princess of Perfection, a lot of people think, oh, she has an ego over here. But whether you have to work as the baby face or you have to work as the bad guy, you're always gonna make it work. And learning for, seeing how Spears is, seeing how Breeze is, or even working with other students who are there or other wrestlers that are, like as you mentioned, about to be signed, about to be going big places, or they're just learning just like you are. Being able to see how they work as a heel for all these months and years, and then
Mhm.
being able to pick up some things on there and then be able to perfect it in your own type of way. That's the best thing about the wrestling business and about like, just showcasing your arts and crafts. But of course, on March 7, just 2 weeks ago, you got to be part of Metroplex Wrestling's one night tournament to crown an inaugural American Joshi champion.
Yes.
However, it did not end the way that many expected it to in regards to pinfall or submission. Instead, the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, would interfere and try to snap both yours and Charity King's arms in classic Baszler fashion. What was that weekend like to be given a call from Athena, and to be part of another historic night for women's wrestling?
Well, first off, I never technically lost. So if we're keeping track, I'm still technically valid in the tournament. I know Ash won, but I never got to continue. So who knows? Maybe I could have been the first ever MPX Joshi American champion. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a rematch at some point. But no, it was a great opportunity. When I was told what we were gonna do, I was like, wow, like I get to be a part of something like this. This is pretty awesome. But yeah, unfortunately, I was an innocent bystander in the drama between Charity and Shayna. But I got popped a couple times. So that's my whole gimmick is the Princess of Perfection, and I bring the pop, and it's like, well, she got popped, her face got popped, and her arm got popped. So
Might be a good merch idea right there. The pop right there, just or
yeah,
just doing a form of some sort.
yeah.
But of course,
I got
um,
some pretty cool pictures. I haven't posted them yet on Instagram. Of when she popped my arm, so they'll get posted at some point. But
well, I can't wait for that. It'll be funny to call this moment back and be like, oh, look, it actually
yeah,
happened. The arm being popped out. But
yeah.
with that weekend as well, did you get the call from Athena, or how did it come together? How did you know that you're going to be part of this tournament?
So I'd been reaching out as soon as I saw she was doing a women's show from the first Who Runs the World. I just hopped on it, was messaging the wrestling school in social media. And I ran into her at AEW I was there for extra work, and she was like, "Oh, you're the girl that's been messaging me." I was like, "Yes, that's me. Hi." And she was like, I have the date for the third show. So we're going to get you on it. And I was like, sweet. Okay. Hustle mentality works. But I mean, like, I'm in sales. So like I get to the point, I get to the point fast. Like if I want to do something like or work with a promotion, like I'm going to reach out and I'm going to sell myself, but I'm also able to back up what I sell. So that's the biggest thing. People can say that it's an ego or it's this or that, but I've every situation I've been put in, I've excelled. So
And no one can tell you otherwise. Look at you, Rutgers alumni and everything. So with gymnastics background before you got to professional wrestling. So everything that you've done with perfection. You've done everything to be able to try to ace that and I mean own your crafts. And I would love to see a future matchup between you and Shayna if that were to call, like, just to see a
yeah,
future matchup between you two because you're innocent bystander. Maybe you want some revenge on that, you know?
no,
Um,
I know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but hopefully I'll be back for MPX for their next women's show. So I guess we'll see how that story plays out.
of course. And of course, this past February, Blanchard. How did it all come together from getting the call to being backstage and having to prepare to be on AMC TV against a former world and knockouts women's champion like Blanchard?
Yeah, so it was a really cool experience. They were like, "Hey, you have a match." I was like, "Okay, great." But that's all they told me. They're like, "Just be at makeup 9:30 tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay, sweet." So like didn't really have any jitters going to sleep because I didn't really know what was going on. So I guess that helped. And then I got to makeup the next day and they're like, "Hey, you're facing Tessa." I was like, "Okay, great." And then they're like, "Okay, but now it's on Impact." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sounds good." And then they gave me essentially like what they wanted, and pretty much they were just like, "Okay, this is the finish, this is the go home. Just listen to her in the ring and do what she says." And I was like, "Okay." So I had 5 things that I got to do, and that was it. And everything else was just on the fly. And I think it was a pretty good job for as green as I am. But everyone was happy backstage, and she put me over on Twitter, which is obviously amazing. And I have nothing but respect for her. The whole Diamond collection with her and Mila Moore and Victoria Crawford, and then obviously TNA as a whole. It was a great experience, and hopefully be back
For
soon.
sure. And
Hopefully get new opportunities with them. Obviously, I'm always looking to show myself and show my capabilities and what I can do and what I can bring. And if they need me to be a good guy, if they need me to be a bad guy, if they need me to flip off of a cage, if they need me to do whatever, like I have the I may be green in the ring, but I have years and years and years of experience in other areas of my life that obviously help with the wrestling aspect.
yeah, and you mentioned just flipping off a cage right now. That's insane, crazy. Takes you back to like this Attitude Era where Jeff Hardy, who's part of TNA, was
Yeah.
doing the most craziest stuff throughout all these past years. Even till now, he's just doing the craziest stuff. Would he be somebody that you reach out to for some little bit of advice, or would you
Oh
just
my
go
gosh.
and try to
Yeah.
wing it?
I've done the whisper in the wind. No one's ever taken it though. So I'm like, I think it would be so cool if I got to do an intergender match and he whips that thing out of nowhere and then like we both do it. I think that would be so cool.
That would be amazing. And then
Yeah.
also, as well as getting advice from him to jumping off a cage. He's done it
Oh
many
yeah.
times. Matt's done it many times. So getting advice from both of them, you might get like the pros and cons, but
Well,
especially mostly
I
the
think
pros.
it also just comes like, for example, like Tiffany Stratton has the similar background as myself, and she does like swantons off of the elimination chamber and stuff like that. Like, it's just that I mean, I'm not going to speak for her, but like, I don't have a fear of like heights. So it's like, okay,
Yeah,
just doing this, but it's a little bit up higher. No big deal.
for sure, for sure. You can do anything you put your mind to, of course. And if with the background that you have, come on now, you could do it in your sleep.
Yeah.
But I believe you have been to the dungeon quite a couple of times, and from what I've seen, there was another trip made last night where it was the
Oh,
biggest one yet. How rewarding has it been to learn under a mind like the low-key legend Natty Neidhart, and how many times have you picked her brain since arriving to own your craft and get better each time you're out there?
yeah. So the dungeon is obviously like an amazing environment and experience. I've learned so much in the couple times that I've gotten to go out there. Yesterday, I think there was around close to 40 of us in the ring. So just trying to stay hungry and show that like you're ready to be put in the scenarios that she's putting you in, like obviously is a good look. I've gotten to talk to her a little bit, like more and more each time I've gotten to go. And I just think even just I'm a very visual learner. And so just being able to like watch and listen helps me so much. Like, even if I'm not in the ring doing stuff, they'll break it down like move by move by move. And I'm like, okay, now I've seen it and now I can replicate it. So, but both her and TJ are wonderful people. Obviously, they open up their time, their facility free of charge. And it's a great environment. Like they have some amazing people that come in. Last night, like Liv Morgan was there, and Lash Legend and Trick Williams and a few others. Those are just obviously the ones on WWE. Oh, Montez was there. But yeah, no, it was a great experience, and just being able to be around again people that are in the business and them wanting to bump for you, like that's pretty cool. Like Liv Morgan wanting to take a bump from off of me, like okay, that's like they don't have to do that. Like she's gonna be on WrestleMania, like for the World Women's Championship. Like she doesn't have to be doing stuff with people that are not signed or just like just starting out. But like she obviously cares about the business and the craft and all of them as well. I was just using her as an example, but yeah, it's a
Of
very
course,
cool experience.
that was one of the biggest names that I saw in that photo. Like, as big as everybody is right now, she's heading into the main
Mm-hmm.
event of WrestleMania for the Women's World Champions against Stephanie Baker. But right, I believe that was you in the blue sweater or something like
Yeah,
that. And it's like, look at you next to the one who's main eventing WrestleMania, and
I
then being
know.
able to learn, taking bumps from her, and then you just explained right now, like she doesn't have to do all of this, but 10 years ago, she knows the spot that she was in where you're learning from these veterans and legends to now teaching
Mhm.
the new students as the veteran, as the legend. And just, of course, thank you so much for opening up about that because I wanted to ask more about, training with Liv Morgan, training with all the amazing students that are also
Mhm.
there and all these up and comers because everyone has the same goal as you do and everyone has the same goal as every other legend and just try to make the business a better place than it once was.
Mhm.
Um, but of course, another big opportunity that you had captured in February included your chance to team up with Hollywood Haley J on NWA Power against Serena Veal and Viperous, also known as Lust for Violence. All the hard work that you've been putting in caught the attention of Billy Corgan and the National Wrestling Alliance. How excited were you to have another big promotion notch under your belt, and how did it all come together?
Yeah, I got to have my debut with NWA. I think it was in September, but the match never aired. I don't know. I think it aired on YouTube, but I think this was the first one that actually aired on the Roku channel, which was pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I knew of Haley J from OVW, but she was never there when I was there. So it was really nice to meet her and be able to work in the ring with her. She has a great mind for the craft and was able to like follow her lead on a lot of stuff. And the match went solid. So yeah, it was good. And NWA is a great place to work. I've gone back 2 or 3 times now, and I think they have the Crockett Cup April 4th. They're doing that. But then their next Tampa taping is like at the end of April. So they haven't announced who they're bringing in for that yet. But obviously, just like throwing my name in the bucket or in the hat, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was a great experience. I'm excited. It was kind of funny because it aired the same weekend that TNA aired and MLW aired. So it was like NWA aired on Tuesday, MLW aired on Thursday, and TNA aired on Thursday also. And
Yeah.
so it was kind of funny. Everyone's like, wow, she's
Like,
collecting these promotions like Infinity Stones. And I'm like,
exactly. Like, I was about to say, like, holy moly, like you just got them all in your hands.
yeah.
Um, and
So,
like you said, and I was about to mention, like you mentioned before, but like you are always reaching out to places to, sell yourself and be able to say, I can do, any match that you need me to. Open up the card, mid-match, co-main event, any of that. How did it
mhm.
come together with Billy Corgan and National Wrestling Alliance? Did you reach out specifically to and speak to Corgan, or was it somebody else?
I honestly just showed up to the TV taping. I knew a couple of the Tennessee talent that signed there, and I had never met them. I was in Nashville for the first like couple months of my wrestling career, so obviously followed other people that were living in Tennessee that were also wrestling. And so met them for the first time, and I was like, hey, yeah, I mean, like, if they need a woman for one of their matches, like, I'm here, I have my gear. If not, would love to show face, shake hands, introduce myself at the very least. And so the boys were like, yeah, we've seen your work like on social media, so we'll go say something to them. And they were like, yeah, let's try it out. So they threw me in it was a different tag. Um, but I ended up, since it never aired, I guess I can explain it. I ended up giving the moonsault as the finish, and we ended up winning. So yeah, it was a fun little experience.
So you have like essentially a one-on-one record right now going into this. Like, so I don't know how the recent, because you said you made two other appearances since then, since the tag team match,
Yeah.
or
So I had another tag. I've had 3 matches with them. I know one of them is aired on Roku. I don't know
yeah.
what happened to the the other 2. Um, I don't know. I asked them for the footage. I think it's on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure. They obviously do
Uh,
their tapings a little different than the other organizations, so I'm not entirely 100% on
yeah,
that.
I'll have to look deeper into that, like go into
Yeah.
like the lost treasures of it.
It's okay
But of
though,
course,
whatever. It's not the end of the world.
it happens, you know what I mean? So like
I don't even
better
I like
things come
half of
along.
my reps I don't think I've ever seen because trying to get footage from promoters, like unless it's on like IWTV or Triller or something like that. Like I'm like, hey, can I have the footage? Oh yeah, we'll get it to you.
But speaking of, all these different streaming services, Indie Wrestling will be hosting on Sunday, March 22nd. Women's Wrestling Revolution will be hosting their tournament for tomorrow, 2026 edition. It was announced days prior that it would be replacing an injured Shannon Levangie, sorry. Um, and it'll now be you competing against Kylie Alexa, who also has been a big name for NWA, in this tournament for the 8 most promising newcomers of the Indies today. What is your final message for Kylie Alexa when you two clash in the tournament of tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Obviously, this was like a last minute addition. But I'm honestly honored that Beyond reached out to me. And I just so happened to be in the Northeast this weekend for another show, and didn't have a booking on Sunday. So yeah, I'm super excited to be a part of this tournament. All of the girls in it have definitely been showcasing themselves in the indie wrestling scene, and I'm grateful to be one of the 8 girls in contention.
For sure, for sure. And I believe that same night as well will be Lainey Luck against Alley Catch for the
Yes.
WEID Women's Championship. So of course, you seeing Lainey, you're being like, okay, I'm gonna win this whole thing. It's especially being a one-night tournament. So what are your thoughts on, is this your first time involved in a one-night tournament, or have you been involved in any before?
The MPX one a couple weeks ago
Oh yeah,
was a
sorry. But besides the MPX one, my apologies.
no,
My
you're
apologies.
good.
That was one that crossed my mind.
No, you're good. I think yeah, besides MPX, this will be another one night tournament. But yeah, again, Lainey looks awesome. She was at the dungeon yesterday. So got to say hi to her. But yeah, I'm excited.
Of course. And of course, thank you so much for this interview today. My last question for you, um, by the way, I would like to thank you for taking the time today for allowing me to interview you and have this conversation with you. What are the three things that you are grateful for, and what are the three things that you're looking forward to conquering in the next year?
Okay, yeah, three things I'm grateful for. Being able to travel the world and get my name out there as far as wrestling goes, being able to stay and maintain healthy and happy in this entire crazy new experience, and then being able to form friendships with people that I probably never would have known about or met if it hadn't been for wrestling. And then three things. What was it? Three things
That you're looking to conquer in the next
I'm
year?
looking to conquer. Okay, yeah. Obviously the big one would be I would love to get a contract with any major three-letter organization, four-letter organization. Um, that's obviously the main goal of most independent wrestlers. So would love to be in talks and consideration for any type of contract with any companies out there. And then just making a better name for myself. We're done with rookie season is officially over. So not saying I'm a vet or anything because I am definitely not. And I know I have a lot to learn. But just being able to get out there on good promotions with good competitors, making myself more marketable, not only as a wrestler, but on social media. And I would say the last thing would be um just becoming more versatile in the ring. Obviously, I'm a high flyer. A lot of people haven't seen a lot of the stuff I can do just because I would save that stuff for maybe not bigger matches, but you want to save your body for certain stuff, but would love to be put in uncomfortable situations where I can show out and excel and be able to pull out some things that I've been working and really surprise a lot of people. I like to pressure myself and put myself in those types of situations because I know it's just going to help me out in the long run.
For sure, and thank you so much for mentioning all those because especially with wanting the best goals, especially signing a big contract or just wanting to be able to save certain things that you've learned. Like you just mentioned, you've been whether you're training with your opponents or whether you're learning from the legends of the business, you're I mean, you're putting all these things in like a checkbox and
Mm-hmm.
waiting to to put them all off and everything. But of course. Thank you very much to Rachel Lay, the Princess of Perfection, for
Thank you.
allowing me to have this amazing conversation with you. And I hope that more eyes get brought to the great stuff that you've been doing week in and week out. This has been another exclusive interview from yours truly, Rami Afif, with the Princess of Perfection, Rachel Lay. Until next time, see you in the future.
Thank you. Bye.